Nice, Timmy. Very nice. Mixing it up today. I like it. Tim Strobel working the controls here, producing the show. Welcome back. It's your lunch hour. Mr. Credit here, ESPN 1700. Conversation never stops online at MrCreditRadio.com. Send your questions there and get them answered for free by me directly and immediately. We've got a great panel in here today. We got JJ, Art, and Lopez. We're going to talk about, obviously, Senate Bill 458, which has just been signed into law as of Friday, effective immediately. Anyone who short sells their home, whatever offers are accepted by the mortgage holders, however many mortgage holders there are, that is considered to be payment in full. There is no recourse with the deficiency balance associated with that. So anyone who is on the fence, potentially worried about recourse from a first, second, or third lien or fourth lien, doesn't have to worry about that anymore. But what are the implications potentially because of that? So, whenever someone wins, someone loses, and the question is, what is that person who loses going to do? Now, in the situation, Art, let's say, for example, that you have the same mortgage company. So you have a first and second mortgage, both with Bank of America. What's your opinion on, is that going to change the transaction now?
I think it's going to make it easier. I honestly do. I think when both the first and second have the same lien holder, I think traditionally they assign two different negotiators on their side. They're probably going to consolidate that now. It doesn't make any sense not to. And there's not a whole lot of things to consider. When you're the same bank, you have all the money, you have all the risk. So I think from that standpoint, I see it being much, much easier. When it's different lien holders on the first and second, that's the one that I have a concern with.
Yeah, that's the one to have concerns with.
Yeah.
Lopez, what do you think on that?
That just makes too much sense, though. We're talking about banks here, right?
That's true. That's true. I'm giving them too much credit.
I mean, you can't. One hand doesn't know what the other one's saying or doing, and I don't know, man. I'm gonna maybe take a wait and see on that.
Okay, so you disagree. So you think that that isn't going to make a difference, or?
It would be great if that happened. I mean, I hope it does, and I think, in fairness to the banks, they've made some efforts in getting things right, and at least, like we talked about earlier, streamlining things. But come on, it's Bank of America, or Wells Fargo, or whoever it is, or
mom banks that still exist.
Mom and pop, right? So,
well, here's my real concern is when you talk about the former, which is that. Or I'm sorry, the latter. When you talk about the second lien holders, the regional banks, the smaller credit unions, for example, who don't traditionally own a lot of this paper in the first place, but the few who do, was there some political motivation for this bill to potentially stamp them out of the picture because they really have no leg to stand on in this situation? I mean, if a second lien holder now takes a hard line in the negotiation, then they will get nothing. So, it's whenever you're negotiating anything, you always want to be willing to walk away if you want to negotiate the best deal for yourself. In fact, you even need to say that you're going to walk away a lot of times to get the best deal. But in this case, they can say walk away, and the first lien holder could say, fine, case closed. Good luck with your nothing. And that's a reality of the situation. JJ, from a banking perspective, if you're a small regional bank, how do you look at this thing?
Well, I think you're exactly right. I mean, I think it's really tough to take a hard line in it. I mean, would you rather have something or nothing? And I think that's how banks sometimes have to look at it, and I think they do. And I think that there's some really good negotiation that does go on with these seconds, especially if you have the right person negotiating. They're pounding on the bank and making them see clear that they're going to get nothing. I mean, even an unsecured promissory note, I mean, what's the guarantee that you're going to get paid on that? I mean, the next thing you know, that's just being sent to a collection agency, right? Somebody walks away from the house. They've already decided to screw their credit at that point in time. And so what's not paying another bill on that house?
Well, what it actually does is it brings into play the chronology of the Fresh Start package, Mr. Credit Fresh Start package, which is the bankruptcy and then the short sale. And now, since there's no recourse on the mortgages in the short sale of a primary residence in the state of California, and because there is the home mortgage exception for the tax liability in that situation, if your specific situation warrants it, it actually could be smarter to do your negotiation, get your short sale done first, depending on your specific circumstances, sign the promissory note, which is unsecured, then file your Chapter 7, delete that sucker, sorry guys, and then be completely scot-free. So this could change the chronology. It makes it even more important to have the right professionals at your fingertips. And of course, when we talk about bankruptcy, we're talking specifically and only about William McDonald with the McDonald Legal Group, who is offering to you a free consultation, untimed. you or anyone you know, just mention Mr. Credit, take this number down, find out what rights you have, see how the law can benefit you. 858-437-0103. 858-437-0103 if you or anyone you know wants to be debt-free. Is there anything else I'm missing here, Art, on potentially the chronology of events or the mindset of someone who's in the seller's position with regard to the new law and the effects that it has?
I think we covered a lot of it, but here's the interesting thing to me is that, we're 3-4 years into this short sale market, and we're still talking about it. I mean, it's strong, and I was asking somebody the other day, do you see at the end of this tunnel any light at all? And there is no. We don't see an end. So we got to keep doing what we're doing and doing a good job at working with the consumers and helping them through this process and helping them with their credit issues and their short sale issues, because unemployment rates aren't going down. People are unemployed, and that's just not going away. And the short sale thing is here for a long time. So no, I think we covered a lot, and it's things that we have to keep focusing on.
Lopez, ground level. What am I missing?
Well, I think Art hit it right on the head there too, just about not seeing any light at the end of the tunnel, and I think it's important that consumers understand the importance of really knowing what their circumstances are, and I think this has been a fundamental shift in how real estate agents work with their clients. It's not about selling; it's about servicing. It's about helping people make informed decisions so that they can come out on the right side of the transaction when the time comes. So you got to really do your homework, do your research, and make sure you're getting with the right people to get those questions answered. So, but I agree when 70-80% of our transactions are distressed properties here in Southern California and San Diego in particular, it's going to be a while to sift through some of that, and I mean, just everything is kind of stacked against us in terms of unemployment and all of that.
Now, you work with the bank, specifically the big investors, on a different level. You have an account with Fannie Mae,
right,
where you receive owned assets, which is basically foreclosed properties that you list and sell. In your dealings with the bank, specifically, or the investors on the bigger side there, is there any kind of insight that you can give us on how that works?
Yeah, it's an interesting process, and I work with Fannie Mae properties, so you've got just all kinds of circumstances that come out, and I kind of get to see it from the very beginning stage. So you've got a homeowner or a tenant. I mean, I'm the initial contact with them from Fannie Mae, so I get to see really the ground level, and it's just amazing across the board, some of the situations, good, bad, and indifferent in a lot of cases from that occupant standpoint. A lot of tenants who are in these properties, I didn't know they were being foreclosed on until I showed up, right? So there are some laws in place to protect them, and of course, they're offering the cash for keys, which often isn't really even enough money to move a family, from one place to another. But I think it helps.
Let's stamp that problem out right now.
Yeah.
Let's just go ahead and finish that up right here. So if I'm a tenant and I have no idea, no way to know that potentially the home is in a distressed situation and that it could be foreclosed on, or is there a way I can look this up and see how it's going? Can I check a public record, or how can I avoid that situation?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough. I mean, there are websites out there you can check with, and I mean, any notices along those lines are public records. So I mean, you can check with the county recorder's office, but I mean, that's again stuff that the average consumer may or may not know about, and so oftentimes again either when I show up, or maybe they get a notice from the lending institution about it, because that's the address they had, and the owner's not living there. So it could be hard to really track and keep up with what's happening with that property.
But it is possible. It is a public record once a notice of default is filed.
Yes.
So that's something that you could potentially check on if you were concerned about it. Like, let's say there's a red flag.
Yeah.
For example, let's say you saw something in the mail, from clearly a bank that looks like a mortgage statement and says, urgent matter, or, payment late, or something like that. Let's say you get a red flag. How do you check on that? What do you do about it if you're the tenant? I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah, there's actually a website service, ePropertywatch.com. You can go in there, you can put the address of the property in there, and you'll actually get email updates sent to you. So that's one way you can track it. It'll also update you on any properties in a zip code or an area you can kind of put in. So that's a pretty good service.
Awesome.
That you can check out.
What is it again?
ePropertywatch.com.
ePropertywatch.com. Well, I had to beat it out of him, but I got it. All right, ePropertywatch.com. That's where you go if you want to figure out what's going on with the property that you're renting. And that obviously is something that you don't want to be snake bitten by. It's just an ugly situation. If you're paying your rent, I mean, that's the dirty part about it. You're paying your rent to someone who's not paying the mortgage with it.
Exactly.
And that's pretty ugly.
Yeah.
Now, that's happened quite a bit. I know people who've done that for long periods of time. I also know people who've figured it out and stopped paying the rent and, just basically rode the same wave that the homeowner was riding. But either way, you just don't want to be involved in that situation. It's your family, it's your home, it's where you live, it's your sanctuary. You want that to be in a safe and cozy place. So I think we need to talk about the flip side. I think we need to talk about buying real estate in San Diego County. Why now is the time to do so. I think we're going to have JJ run some numbers for us. I want to tell you exactly what you should do. If you're looking at the stock market like I am today and going, up 200? Huh? I'm out. I tell you what, if you think there's any upside left in the stock market, you're crazy. I would get in cash. I would buy real estate. I'll tell you exactly why and how. When we come back, it's your lunch hour. Mr. Credit, ESPN 1700.
If you'd like to contact Mr. Credit or get free credit advice, go to MrCreditRadio.com today. That's MrCreditRadio.com.
Do you know